We went on vacation and an air show broke out. I went to a concert and a stole competition broke out. Hey, we went to a stole competition and a concert broke out. All right, father-daughter flights here as the sun is setting to the west. The stole demo and the ultralight flights are going on. So it's in a chaos situation, but hopefully you can catch the audio. And if it's really bad, I'll catch Toby tomorrow. We'll do this again.
Sure.
This is Toby Rice, and he is not only the owner, but the chief cook, bottle washer, everything else of Wingman Flight Academy, as the hat says. Where's Wingman Flight Academy, and what's it about?
Well, Wingman Flight Academy is in Dixon, Tennessee, just outside of Nashville. And we focus on professional, practical, and personalized flight training designed for the needs of each of our clients.
Cool. So you teach students who might be working on any level of their flight training, but also you work with flight trainers themselves and kind of got a lot of things going on. And then you've got a few other hobbies. So most people will know you on YouTube as the fiddle player or the musician guy. Just a brief bit about that part of your life. What's your background with music, and what do you do with all of that?
Well, the background with my music has mainly been bluegrass and old-timey Irish type music, very traditional. I was classically trained for about 17 or so years. Took lessons, and all the teachers that I had.
So then it was called violin.
It was violin at that point. Yes, it was violin at that point. But then somewhere along the line, I just decided that fiddle music was the type of music that I really liked. So my brother learned to play guitar, my sister mandolin, other brother bass, and we've had a little bluegrass band, and go from there.
And took the show on the road, as it were.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. So, met Toby at the ACCA event in person. I kind of seen him around a lot of events and on some other people's videos. One of the things that we've been discussing just the last couple of hours or days has been some of your interests in your spiritual faith, different things like that. One of the things that I loved is, you were looking for... We're going to pause that. So you were a classically trained musician, learned that bluegrass and some of that folk music, Irish folk music. I was very impressed the other night with everything but the clogging. It didn't happen.
I won't ruin the evening. My attempts to dance. I wouldn't call it dancing.
There you go.
Stumbling.
So stumbling, stuttering
breaking
around.
bones.
Yeah, stepping on different bugs. When it's always funny because when you get in those settings, you're starting to ask for crowd recommendations. Like that's pretty naked. That's pretty raw and out there. Hey, pick a song. Sorry, we don't know that one. Hey, pick a song. Sorry, your repertoire is pretty deep. It's always great because the other night, any gospel songs, and finally like Amazing Grace. Well, who doesn't know Amazing Grace, right? But I found it interesting because I know some of your personal spiritual story a little bit. That was pretty cool because everybody starts singing along.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny to me as a pastor that one of the things that happens is, people can appreciate a good religious song once in a while or whatever. So anyway, I want to thank you and appreciate that coming out. Do you get a lot of opportunity to use your music or use your flying as a communication method for some of your personal beliefs, or how does that all look for you and how you live out your life?
Well, it's kind of it kind of all happens by itself. You just meet the right people and have the right conversations. But there's nothing very direct about it. It's all very just live your life, be a good witness, and just go from there.
Yeah. So I was enjoying the fact that we were talking about one of the first things we saw when we came in the gate this morning. I called it the Amen Corner, which is a golf term from Augusta. If you don't follow that, never mind.
Yeah, the Amen
Corner. Walk in gate 31, and at the first corner you come to, you have all the missionary aviation organizations. And earlier when we were stopping to grab a root beer, Toby was carrying his jars bag, and we started showing each other verses and whatever we were doing while Wolf Pilot was doing his live stream. But
Wolf Pilot.
Yeah, good old Jay. So I think it's appropriate, and what you were saying that when you're giving a lesson to somebody, it's not the time to start, hey, what do you think of this Bible verse? No, we're trying to learn power on stall. hey, since you're near death, how do you feel about eternity?
Yeah,
Exactly. So I appreciate that very natural thing you do. A lot of what I appreciate about you is that you meeting the right people and using your skills and abilities. You've got a lot of those. So in the flight world, since we're a father-daughter flights channel and obviously want to stay with a little Oshkosh theme, how'd you get here? What was your vehicle of travel to come from Tennessee to Illinois first and then now up to Wisconsin?
Well, our primary mode of transportation to get to Oshkosh, it's all started with a phone call. So my buddy Dan calls me up.
Looking for a fiddle player.
Looking for a fiddle player, right? It's always looking for a fiddle player. Although for him, it's always a mandolin player for some reason. He keeps calling me his personal mandolin player, and I say, look, I'm nobody's mandolin player. I'm a strong, independent mandolin player that don't need no banjo. Right.
The mandolin covers the banjo nicely, though.
It does cover the banjo
yeah.
nicely. There is some proof for that. But
yeah.
also over the phone call, Dan's. I was going up to the ACO Awards and then Oshkosh, and Dan called me up and said, "Hey, I need someone to fly a DC-3 up with me." And I said, "Well, I'm not ready for the DC-3. What's the deal with that?" He said, "Oh, no problem, because when you are training to fly co-pilot in a two-pilot airplane, if the pilot in command is an instructor, then you can be receiving instruction while acting as a required crew member." So I was able to drive down from Nashville to Atlanta. We picked up the DC-3, flew the DC-3 nonstop from Atlanta to Illinois. We'd have one gas stop just short, but practically nonstop from Atlanta to Illinois. And then from there we flew it from Illinois up to Oshkosh.
And you're counting all of that as instruction time?
All that's instruction time.
So how many hours do you need to get a type rating in a DC-3?
Well, there's no hour requirement.
Just proficiency.
It's proficiency. You have to do a couple takeoffs and landings, a couple maneuvers, but there's no specific hour requirement for that.
So we should all lobby Mr. GRYDER to sign your logbook at the end of this deal and let you do the landings on the way home.
Oh yeah, by the time this deal's done, I'm going to have hopefully have a second in command type rating, so I can be a co-pilot on the DC-3.
Nice. You were nice enough to give Katie and I a look inside the DC-3 on Saturday afternoon, I believe it was. Of the DC-3, what do you think? You know how to fly this?
No.
Not going to be an instructional video at all, but just a chance to see, again, a classic, a 1938 DC-3 that's still flying, and so older than most of your grandparents, and still airworthy and trustworthy. So that's pretty cool. So you got up here, and you're just kind of like hanging around, being a helper. I appreciate that, serving other people. Absolutely, leading the music side of things from the fiddle. Even though Dan thought he was in charge, we all know how many notes he hits right and wrong. So
I ain't saying nothing.
Yeah, it's not a video. It's not a YouTube video if you don't pick on Dan for something.
No.
So,
you know, they say you can pick on your friends. You can pick your nose, but you can't pick your friend's nose.
That's right. That's how it works. Even if they play trombone and banjo. So, real quick, a little bit about your family being brought up. Where did your interest in aviation come from?
Well, interest in aviation, it's kind of been something that I've been into since I was very young. My dad learned to fly. He soloed. He wasn't able to finish his certificate because of a medical problem, but he soloed. And now we're trying to get him on basic med so we can get him back into flying.
Awesome, yeah.
My cousin is a flight instructor, and she works for an airline. My uncle built some airplanes, flew them. Both of my grandfathers flew.
So you had quite a bit of family influence into your life. And it inspired you to go into aviation, and obviously you're building a business and very successful at what you're doing so far. What would you say looking into the future, what would be the legacy you'd like to leave in the aviation world? How is your use of aviation making the world a better place, touching other lives?
Well, my philosophy, Jeff, really is that I want to transform myself through the helping of others. That's what's important to me. I feel like that's my calling, is to build people. Building people does not mean at any point that I am a built person. Right. It does not mean that
we're all in process.
That I am perfectly figured out. But by helping other people figure out what they can do, whether it's with flying or with their own lives, I can learn and grow from that. So that's kind of the legacy, I guess, that if you could say, what was this person like, that's where I want to be. I want to be the guy that helped somebody get where they needed to be, and was able to grow and be successful in whatever it is that they're trying to work on. And in the case of aviation, it's to be better, safer, more proficient, practical, professional pilots.
And then lead the next generation in that same direction.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's a great, it's a theme we've heard from a couple of people that, we're in our process ourselves and then bringing people along to follow. In my faith journey, we talk about being a follower and leading others, and so really appreciate that. So, question we haven't touched on, how many different airplanes have you flown and what's your favorite?
Well, I was counting my logbook the other day. I've flown airplanes, gyroplanes, gliders, seaplanes. I think I've got experience in some odd 68 or more different makes and models of aircraft. I'm a commercial pilot. I'm rated an airplane single engine land and sea, multi-engine land instrument airplane. I am a sport pilot and sport pilot instructor for gyroplanes. My glider.
I'm sorry, those are just crazy to me. I can even get into this powered parachute thing, but gyro, that's weird.
Gyros, there's a lot of physics going on there, but
there is a lot of physics. It makes my brain hurt.
But that's good. If it's not hurting, it's not growing. But so my glider experience has been purely a solo experience. I received some instruction in solo, but I haven't gotten my add-on rating for that yet. I'd like to get that finished up sometime in the next year or two. But I've got that's the ratings that I have for that. Instructor, single engine, multi-engine, land and sea for the single, land for multi, and then an instrument airplane, then gyroplanes.
So unfortunately, I was just showing these Grummins over here. If it floods and they need to get out, you're not. Well, there's still land actually if you keep the wheels down, right? How deep's the water got to be to consider it a seaplane?
It's the puddle's got to be a large puddle.
Okay,
very large puddle. Think that you want a couple feet of water.
Okay, cool. Favorite airplane?
Favorite airplane? Oh man, which category? There's so many.
Yeah. You can pick 4 airplanes at the top 4.
4 airplanes. Top 4 airplanes. Favorite airplane that I have flown is probably gonna be maybe the Glass Air 3.
Oh, cool.
Glass Air 3. That was a really slick airplane.
Yeah.
It had some pros and cons to it that we could balance out, but it was a fun airplane to fly. Definitely one of my favorites. Another favorite airplane is probably the DC-3. It flies weird. I'm telling you, it doesn't fly like an airplane you've flown before. It just flies weird, but it's got this class to it.
Cool.
I like that a lot. The float planes were fun. I mean, I've flown helicopters too, but I'm still training on those. I don't know. I guess my favorite airplane, long term, like the airplane I've always wanted to have, is a Lancer Legacy. Lancer Legacy RG. I just like the idea of going 300 miles an hour.
Slick and quick.
It's just awesome.
Absolutely.
It's just awesome.
That's cool. It's kind of funny. I asked one guy with the question in the frame of if money was no object. He says, "Oh, then it's 10." And he had a list. He had top 10. Boom. Well, here we go. And of course, you need a STOL plane, as one of the 10, but you need a family truckster, and you need one that just goes faster than everything else, and P-51, because just if you own one, because money's no object, you own one.
Of course.
So anyway, it's kind of fun. Hey, Toby, thanks for your time.
Hey, no problem.
Thanks for the interview. Great to see you. Great to get to know you. We'll look forward to seeing you in the future.
Let's do it.
And now you know, Toby Rice.
I know all your YouTubes. Watch that.
Well, you must not have anything else to do.
I don't. I watch that shit.
You must be completely socially.
I've been flying
bored
out of your mind.